Different location, same destination. This is Frederica Perry. I'm with Daron Pearson. You already know. Welcome to High on Sports. Just again, we only got one segment today for you guys. It's just going to be the NBA and the NBA playoffs and their recent games and what's been going on in that. And as we're going to get started, we're going to dive into the Celtics and Cavs first, and as we're going to go on down the list. But as usual, you want to keep this intro short? I forgot it. I forgot my intro.
I got the lighter. I got the phone.
Oh. Sorry, guys. As usual, the news is packed.
I got the lighter.
Let's get high. All right, guys. Last night it was the Celtics and Cavs at the Celtics place, I believe, right?
It was in
Cleveland.
No, it was in the Celtics. It was Game 5. Yep.
Game 5 in Boston, and the Celtics, they handle business that they usually do. Jason Tatum finally is showing the superstar that he's capable of being in these last 3 games, and as I predicted, Boston is going to the Eastern Conference Finals. But Ron, you want to get more into details about that? Is Boston meeting your expectations, or do you feel like they can be beaten?
I feel like anybody can be beaten. I feel like with Boston, it's more so consistency. Your key players being consistent, starting with Jason Tatum. I feel like in the first few games he struggled shooting percentage wise. But, over the past few games, he picked it up. And I feel like Al Horford played a tremendous part last night, giving you 22, 5, and 15 on great efficiency. And, of course, the Celtic defense is always going to be there. It's the main point, staying locked in, being consistent on offense, everybody being consistent on what they do. And I feel like, of course, they can be beaten, but that's a tall tale for any team to beat them in a 7-game series.
Yeah, you're right. In terms of that, Boston, they're meeting my expectations. They're playing just as good. But nobody's gonna be perfect.
Sure.
Nobody's gonna be perfect. And in terms of on the other side of things, we're gonna get into the Knicks and Pacers a little bit later. But in terms of that, it seems like that's gonna be true because I believe the Knicks are gonna win this game. I think the Knicks are gonna win the 7. But we're gonna get into more details about that later on. But about on the Cavs, we're gonna go to the Cavs side. Their season is over, and we're just gonna talk about Donovan Mitchell. What do you believe? Do you believe is this Donovan Mitchell's last game as a Cavalier?
I believe it is. I believe, there's been hearings about him not being happy with the organization due to the youth. And I think he's in win now mode. So I think he wants to go to a team that he can really contend with.
Exactly.
Yes, the Cavs are a playoff team, but are they really contending for a championship? No.
Right.
And I feel like with Donovan Mitchell, he's not young anymore. He's young, but he's not young anymore.
Mm-hmm. So
I feel like he should go to a veteran team like the Lakers. Maybe you can trade him to Golden State. So I feel like the Cavs to trade him, get as much draft capital as you can, maybe a decent role player. Because you're never going to get the value for a superstar. Draft capital, decent role player, stay in playoff contention. I feel like both sides will be happy.
Okay. Do I believe so? In terms of the 100% scale, it's an 80% chance. Okay. Seems like Donovan Mitchell don't want to resign there. He don't want to be in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of potential teams, and we're going to get into that as the NBA offseason arrives. But in terms of what teams I believe he should go, maybe the Lakers, but I think the Lakers can probably get somebody better. But in terms of, I'd love to see him on the Spurs, some teams like that.
Oh yeah, that's what
or also OKC. OKC can somehow get involved.
That's true.
I love OKC to get another scoring buddy with Shea. And we're going to get into that game next as we transition. So I'm glad we talk about that. Cut. All right. We're back at it again after our second interruption. It's just been a bunch of interruptions today. But we got Thunders and Mavericks. Thunders and Mavericks. We already I'm discombobulated because what's going on right now. But we got Thunders and Mavericks. And in terms of how that game went out, they beat the Thunder last night, 104 to 92. 92, right?
92, yeah.
104 to 92. Just thanks for confirming that. And in terms of what happened in that game, Luka did not complain to the refs, and he showed out. He did his thing. The role players are performing well again. They played well in that game as well. In terms of OKC side of things, they need help, and Shea cannot do it by himself, man. He cannot do it by himself. I told you, I keep saying that about it. Every time he play, he's going to get his 30. He's going to get his 30. But somebody need to get 20 and up. Nobody, the highest person on the team right now is averaging 16.4, and that's Jalen Williams. And they got to do better than that. If order they want to beat the Mavericks, because if Luka wants Kyrie, because they're winning right now without Kyrie. Kyrie scoring 14 this series.
Exactly.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out. So, partner, I'm going to pass to you and see how this is going to play. What do you think is going to happen in this series?
I think it's over in 6. I think with the Mavericks having the depth that they have, PJ, Derrick Jones had 19 last game. The role players are stepping up without Kyrie Irving having to put on a scoring display like he usually has to. But, in a game 6 factor, I don't trust anyone more than Kyrie Irving or Luka Doncic. And with SG, I just don't see anyone stepping up and providing that offensive help that OKC is going to need to force the game 7 back in Oklahoma. So I would have to go Mavs in 6, and that's my prediction.
Mavs in 6, yeah. We pretty much on agreement right there. I got Mavs in 6 unless somebody else on the OKC can show out. But moving on, we got the game that's going on tonight at 8:30. We got the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Ever since the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets twice in their home, the Nuggets have won 3 straight, and Jokic have been in MVP form ever since being announced as winning the MVP.
Yep.
And and Gobert, ever since not been Defensive Player of the Year, has been the complete opposite. Jokic, he had 40 points.
40, 13, and 7 to be exact.
Thank you, 40, 13, and 7. And it's as far we already said it before.
Yeah.
Minnesota is not. It's just they inconsistent, and it's just you can just tell who the championship team and who played in the championship.
Yes, you can.
And you can just tell Denver after they made some adjustments. Minnesota has not been able to keep up with them adjustments, and whatever they tried to do has not worked. Cat has been up and down this season, and Ant gonna again, just like OKC, Ant gonna get you his 30, but who else gonna show up? And can you slow down Jokic? Because if he gonna put up 40 and everybody else, at least you do their usual numbers.
Exactly.
That's a dub every time. And Aaron Gordon in game 4, 11 for 12. Had 27 points that game. So, yeah, if you gonna win every time if Aaron Gordon is scoring 25.
I agree.
Partner, I'm gonna let you. What do you think of how this series is gonna end out tonight?
I think that Minnesota's gonna force a game 7. I feel like Karl-Anthony Towns has been inconsistent, but I feel like tonight would be the night where he shows up back at home in Minnesota to force a game 7.
Right.
And man is gonna do what he does. I feel like the key factor to winning is Joker's going to get his, but you can't let the other pieces do what they do. You can't let Gordon go off for 20+. You can't let Michael Porter Jr. hit 4 to 5 threes. You got to contain Murray.
Yep.
And I feel like Gobert, you have to contain Joker. You're not going to stop him, but contain him.
You got to show why you're the Defensive Player of the Year, man. You got to show why. Otherwise, it's going to be Wemby's award from here on out.
And then also, when Denver makes their runs, I need to see adjustments. I need to see. It seems like the Timberwolves get rattled, and once Denver make a run, it's like they're never in these past 3 games. They just cannot make it a game. So I feel like adjustments will be made. I feel like they will stop the complementary pieces.
Okay.
Joker's gonna do what he do, but I think it's going back to Denver for a Game 7.
Okay. And last but not least, man, like I said, it's quick segments from right now. We got the Pacers and the Knicks. They play on Friday because Caitlin Clark is having her home debut today for the Fever. So, and we'll talk about the WNBA soon, I promise. But in terms of the Knicks and Pacers, the Knicks demolished them at their last homestand. And after the Pacers demolished them 2 nights before. Yeah, Indiana. Yep. So, as I always say in this series, man, Pacers always play better at home. But do I believe the Knicks got a chance of winning? Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I get them. It's a 50-50. It really depends on. I need Tyreek's going to have to show up for sure.
Yes.
He definitely going to have to show up. And because I believe all of the Pacers, their role players usually show up. They have been showing up this series.
Yeah.
But Siakam has been averaging 19 this series. So everybody else has been playing good. But he has been, Halliburton has been up and down throughout.
Yeah.
But like I said, everybody plays better at home. So the Pacers, I do believe the Pacers will edge out a close one. But I do believe the Knicks will win this series. And my Eastern Conference prediction, the Knicks and Celtics will come true. So at least I have that side of things when it comes to my prediction. But Barton, what do you think about the Knicks and Pacers that we closed out today's episode?
I think that it's going to go 7. I'm going to agree with you. I feel like Pacers are going to have a great game because they play better at home.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Knicks will take the series in 7.
Yeah.
I feel like Jalen Brunson, they're going to be locked in, but I feel like they're going to be a little bit drained.
Right.
But I feel like once they go back to that Game 7, it's going to, that home crowd, Madison Square Garden.
Exactly.
That's what's going to lead them to victory. But in terms of tomorrow night, Halliburton's going to have a great game.
Yeah.
The role players, TJ McConnell he is very one of those players that doesn't get talked about enough for his effort, his defense, and his contribution to the team.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night I'm going to go with the Pacers, but in the series I'm going to go with Knicks in 7. And I feel like in Game 7, Jalen Brunson will go for a big night.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it too. I'm going to say 40-40.
40, yeah. 40.
He's still the highest average scorer in the playoffs right now.
Yes, sir.
But that's about it for today's episode, man. We're going to get ready to close out. And in terms of anything else you want to say to the fans, Daron? Do you want to say anything?
I would say
March, any comments?
Subscribe, leave in the comments who do you have winning the championship. And also give your predictions on what teams that you had go into the finals, and comment your favorite team down below.
Yes, sir. And as always, man, tune in for these episodes. They come in every week, drop in every Saturday or Sunday. I appreciate y'all's support. We got 10 subscribers right now, so we're just gonna keep going up. Keep subscribing, keep liking. And how we gonna close this out? Well, Daron,
I got the lighter.
the news is packed. But now, you usually say this most session is over.
Okay.
But I'm Frederick Perry. This is Daron Pearson, and this most session is over.